Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is, of course, Cameron. There you go, James Rodriguez has officially left Everton to join Rayyan in Qatar. The saga is finally over and the Colombian playmaker's time at Everton Football Club comes to an unfortunate end, I think, in a lot of people's minds. Certainly mine as well. Look, I understand that James was on £200,000 a week and had injury issues and fitness issues, and I understand that he mightn't have necessarily fitted into Rafa Benitez's Everton side or the system that Rafa Benitez is currently playing at the football club or wants to play in the future. However, to think that we never actually got to see James Rodriguez play in front of a packed out Goodison Park, a lot of Evertonians, including myself, never even got to see him play in the flesh. I know, some Evertonians over in Florida did, but it is a very sort of bitter pill to swallow, isn't it? Because when you have a player of that quality and the excitement when he come into the football club last summer about, having a player like James Rodriguez with the following that he has, he is a real global superstar. He's a global celebrity, really, in the footballing world. And just remembering all of the joy and all of the excitement when he come into the football club last summer, and then obviously that September month last season where he was absolutely electric, scoring goals, assisting goals, and we thought we had a real sort of wizard on our hands, and we did. To be fair, like I said, let's not try and rewrite history. When James Rodriguez played last season, most of the time he played well and he created chances. We had the Merseyside derby, of course, where he assisted Richarlison in the opening couple of minutes. Brilliant pass that not many players would have been able to complete. Obviously, we had the game against Manchester United at Old Trafford when he scored the equaliser as well. Again, really, really nice finish. The goal against Leicester, which was a brilliant goal. So there's a lot of moments that we can look back on in regards to James Rodriguez's Everton career and smile at and sort of, I suppose, be happy about. But like I said, it is a bitter pill to swallow, and certainly it's disappointing considering how this sort of saga has played out, really, and how this situation is played out, obviously throughout the last couple of months or so. When Carlo Ancelotti left, I think we all sort of knew. I think we all sort of had a feeling deep down that, was James Rodriguez going to follow him? Was James Rodriguez going to leave the football club as well? Because we all knew, despite what anybody had said, despite what James had said himself, despite what Carlo Ancelotti had said, despite what anybody in the media had said, we all knew that James Rodriguez had only come to Everton Football Club for one reason and one reason only, and that was Carlo Ancelotti. And when Carlo left and James sort of, again, obviously we went over to Florida in the Florida Cup when Rafa Benitez was announced. We didn't really hear an awful lot from James or any of the players during the managerial search, but there was a lot of sort of rumours and murmurs as to whether or not he would stay at Everton. He obviously then went over to Florida and everything seemed okay. Everything seemed perfectly fine, happy, performing over in Florida, training, working hard, and we all sort of, I think, had this feeling of maybe, just maybe, James will get his head down here and want to actually play for Rafa Benitez, and Rafa Benitez will see that and see his hard work and this, that and the other, and integrate him into the squad next season. And then it's been quite evidently clear over the last few weeks, hasn't it, that maybe the manager doesn't believe the player fits into the system or doesn't believe the player can offer him what he needs. And to be honest, I don't think the player wants to work under the manager. I don't think the player wants to be at the football club. And I don't think it's just solely Rafa Benitez to blame in this situation. I think any Everton manager could have come in, to be honest with you. I had this discussion on one of the live streams the other day. Somebody said about David Moyes, and I said I think if David Moyes had been the Everton manager, I think James Rodriguez would be wanting to leave the football club. He come here for one reason and one reason only, and that's Carlo Ancelotti, a manager who was very lenient with him at previous clubs, put his arm around him, allowed him to play when he wanted to play, allowed him to train when he needed to train, and train at probably not a higher level than anybody else, and basically give him that preferential treatment because of the quality of the player. And some might say that's right, that's fair enough. When you've got a player like that, sometimes you'd have to give him a little bit of special treatment, but that's not the type of manager that Rafa Benitez is. Rafa Benitez won't give special treatment to any player, whether you're Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, James Rodriguez, or Andros Townsend, Damari Gray, Solomon Rondon. He won't give special treatment to to anybody. He'll treat everybody the same. We've heard a number of times over the years players like Cristiano Ronaldo coming out and basically saying he wanted me to do what everybody else was doing. Does he know I'm Cristiano Ronaldo, this, that and the other? And I just don't think that relationship worked well between James Rodriguez and Rafael Benitez. But it wasn't a one-way relationship. I refuse to believe this agenda. I refuse to believe this sort of these rumours that Rafa Benitez wanted James Rodriguez out the club and James Rodriguez desperately wanted to stay. I don't think there's anything wrong with a journalist or the club or the player or anybody coming out and saying, listen, the player saying I wanted to leave and the club needed to sell me for financial reasons and because they didn't think that I fitted into the system, so it works for everybody. That is the situation here. James didn't want to play for Everton and doesn't want to play for Everton, clearly, because otherwise he either got his head down and worked hard and not have gone over to the Qatari League at 30 years old when he could still be playing in the Premier League, or he could have gone over to Portugal or Germany or Spain or whatever. I think Everton are probably happy with the deal. I think Everton are probably acceptant of the deal and are probably happy that again, a player that hasn't featured so far this season is picking up a lot of money in wages, is now obviously moved on, and we can go and reinvest that money elsewhere in other areas of the squad, in other areas on the pitch, in the next few transfer windows. I think it works for both parties. As I said, I think it works for both parties. Financially, it works for Everton because all of a sudden a player that would be leaving in next summer anyway is leaving 6 months earlier. We saving though in the wages. And of course, like I said, James Rodriguez wasn't playing anyway, he wasn't fit, he wasn't available. He was coming out 1 minute on Twitch and saying that he's available for the game at the weekend, and then a couple of days later he's saying to the manager that he feels like he's not ready, so he doesn't want to be involved. And obviously it works for James. He gets to go over to Qatar and live, I can imagine, a luscious life and be paid an awful lot of money to do that as well. The news broke earlier this morning, and it come straight from Fabrizio Romano at first, actually, who said that. So the latest last night was that Pipe Sierra said that James Rodriguez will make his decision tomorrow, meaning today, as this video is being recorded. We don't know when it will be going out because I'm recording it pre the announcement, but we know that James Rodriguez has left the football club. Pipe Sierra said tomorrow James Rodriguez will decide if he wants to sign for Al Rayyan or return to Everton. And then Fabrizio Romano said this morning that James Rodriguez has joined Al Rayyan from Everton. An agreement has been reached and confirmed. The salary payment has been agreed with Everton. Medical is already completed. Pipe Sierra stated then that it wasn't a loan, it was a direct transfer. He also confirmed that the Colombian playmaker has joined the Qatari League to play for Al Rayyan. So yeah, again, nothing really much else on the transfer. We know James has left, and look, best of luck to James Rodriguez in his future. I'm not in a position to sit here and question his motivation or question his his why he joined, why he's left Everton Football Club or this, that and the other. I'm not going to sit here and start giving James Rodriguez, technically one of the greatest footballers on the planet, advice on what to do and what not to do with his career. Do I think that it's a little bit strange? I do, because I think a player of James Rodriguez at 30 years old, still with a few years ahead of him at the highest level for me in his career, and maybe that's part of it. Maybe James Rodriguez doesn't feel like he's got a few years ahead of him at the highest level. Maybe James Rodriguez thinks that again, he can go over to Qatar, he can pick up a shitload of money, and it'll be a league where it's a lot easier for him. It's a lot slower pace. He doesn't have to do as much running. He doesn't have to work as hard as he would in the Premier League. Maybe that was the decision maker for James Rodriguez. Maybe he doesn't feel like his body can compete at the highest level anymore. Maybe he doesn't feel like his fitness or his injuries, maybe he feels like they're stopping him from competing in the Premier League or in the Spanish League or the German League, etc. So maybe he saw the opportunity come up with obviously with Al Rayyan and thought, you know what, that's a league where I'll be able to cope with I'll be able to cope with the pace, I'll be able to cope with the quality of the league, I'll be by far the best player in the league. So it'll be a lot easier for me, and that's more suited to my life at the moment. And if he thought like that, then fair enough, because he's obviously putting his body before, obviously is playing in any of the top leagues. He's obviously putting his fitness ahead of that. I think there'll be a lot of Evertonians and a lot of football fans across the world that believe he's only moved for the money, because Al Rayyan are probably one of the only clubs in the world that were willing to pay him anywhere near what he was being paid at Everton. We know obviously he was heavily linked with Porto in the summer, didn't move there because they weren't able to pay his wages. And again, obviously he was linked with Istanbul Başakşehir in Turkey a couple of weeks ago, didn't move there either. So look, we can sit here and question all day why he's gone over to Qatar and for what reason and what's his motivation and what's his prerogative, but ultimately at the end of the day, doesn't matter why he's gone there. He's left Everton Football Club, and as Evertonians, that's all we need to worry about, and that's all we need to talk about. Like I said, on one hand, I'm glad that the entire saga is over with now, and that we don't have to wake up every morning and hear people talking about whether or not he'll be in the team at the weekend, and when he's not in the team, who do we blame? Do we blame him? Do we blame the manager? Do we blame the fitness staff? Do we blame Marcel Brands? Do we blame Bill Kenwright? Who do we blame because James Rodriguez isn't fit? I'm glad we don't have to worry about every time that notification comes up that he's live on Twitch, worrying about what he's going to say. Is he going to say something about Everton? Is he going to say something about wanting to leave Everton? I'm glad that is all over now, and that's all done, and we don't have to worry about that. But I can't lie, I am disappointed. I am disappointed because it just would have been lovely to see a player of that calibre, a player of that quality, a player of that technical ability play at Goodison Park in front of a packed out Everton crowd. And you do wonder, don't you? I know, the world doesn't revolve around if, buts and what ifs and this, that and the other, but you do wonder if James Rodriguez's attitude would have changed had he have played in front of a packed out Goodison Park. You wonder whether he would have had a different mentality, he would have had a different decision to make. You wonder whether he would have all of a sudden thought, no, do you know what, I want to go and play, over in Qatar. You wonder whether he'd have sat down and actually thought, this is amazing, I've never played in an atmosphere like this before. Oh my God, the fans absolutely love me. Because let's be honest, it's been difficult for James Rodriguez. To give him his due, it's been difficult for him. He's come into a football club where he's very clearly, the best player at the football club technically. I know there's this, I know obviously there's a long-term saying that goes around, which is that no player is bigger than the club, and I agree with that. I'm first and foremost in the line to agree with that statement, but you look at James Rodriguez, his social media following, his platform, his sort of status as a footballing celebrity, and there'd be a big argument to say that James Rodriguez is bigger than Everton. For us, he's not, because we're Evertonians and no player is bigger than the football club. But for him, he would argue otherwise. He would argue that he is bigger than the football club. And he's come over during a global pandemic when obviously there's no fans in the stadium. He won't be allowed to witness that sort of roar of Goodison Park under the lights, or on a 3 o'clock kickoff in a Merseyside derby, and in a game against Man United. He won't be able to hear that crowd, that roar, that feeling, that atmosphere, which we know that a lot of players, have said that, once they feel at Goodison Park, it's amazing. They've never felt anything like it. And obviously come for a specific manager, and that manager's now left. So for James Rodriguez, he might say, well, I come over during a global pandemic. I've never got to play in front of the crowd. It's been difficult playing in front of empty stadiums anyway, because it's like training every week. And the fella who will come over to play for is now gone elsewhere. So I'm sure James will have a lot of reasons as to why he's left Everton that you might sit there and listen to and think, actually, do you know what, that's fair enough. But ultimately, it's disappointing. It is disappointing. And like I said, to have a player like that, of that calibre, of that technical ability, leave the football club, yes, I understand that he's on 200 grand a week and his fitness issues and his worries, and I get that. I think Rafa Benitez and probably a lot of other people at the football club just wanted this whole saga done with and out the way, and so we can move on and focus on the season ahead. Obviously, we've just lost to QPR in the Carabao Cup. We've just lost to Aston Villa in the Premier League as well, so it's already within a little bit of a bump, hit a little bit of a bump in the road in regards to form. So I'm sure the club just wanted to get this James Rodriguez situation done with and out the way. And I get that, but it is disappointing for me. especially also given the fact that our squad is absolutely wafer thin. We saw that against QPR, absolutely wafer thin. You know, we've got very little squad depth. We've got 4 or 5 key first teamers out injured, and without those key first teamers, the drop off in quality is absolutely drastic. Absolutely drastic, as shown the other night. So it is. I get that there'll be a lot of Blues saying, why have we allowed James Rodriguez to leave when we're in such a a poor situation with our squad depth and with injuries and with fitness, etc. Maybe James Rodriguez is has made it abundantly clear that he wanted to leave. Maybe this one was out of the club's hands a little bit, and the club have sort of just gone, well, if you want to leave, then we'll allow you to leave because we could do with saving the money anyway. But like I said, I don't subscribe to this whole thought process of James desperately wanted to stay and all he wanted to do was play for Everton and Everton have forced him out. I don't think that's the case whatsoever. But look, there you go, it's done now. James Rodriguez has officially left Everton to join Al Rayyan over in Qatar. Wishing him the best of luck, of course. No ill feelings. Just, like I said, a bit of sadness that we never got to see him play in front of a packed out Goodison, and I never got to see him personally play in an Everton shirt because he is a wonderful, wonderful technical footballer. But I suppose the manager is thinking that he can be a wonderful technical footballer. If he's not reliable, then he's not going to place in the squad. I don't know the thinking behind it. I don't know the thought process behind it. But all as we know is that James Rodriguez has officially left Everton. Let us know your thoughts on it in the comment section down below. If you've enjoyed this one, please do hit that like button. It only takes a second, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Massive thank you to everybody for watching. I really do appreciate it, and we will see you soon on the Mighty Blues. Cheers for watching. See you after.